Hello and welcome back. Today, another 240Z video. We are working on the rear stub axles, or rear hubs, sorry, the rear hub assembly, getting those put back together. Let me show you where we're at so far. So this is, whoa, let me back out, sorry. This is the OEM pieces right here. I've taken them apart several months ago, no big deal. The hard part is, on this nut here, most of the time, people crush it, like in that spot right there. And when you take it off, if you don't know that it's crushed, like I didn't, it really boogers up the threads. See if I can get in on that. This one is completely trashed. There we go. Right up in that spot. Trashed so much so that I went and bought, just so you know, it's an M20 1.5 thread pitch. So we got a die for that, and got this one good. It is good to go, no problems. This one I tried and tried and tried and just couldn't. So, boom, ordered a refurbished piece to replace the one that was so boogered up I couldn't get to. However, this nut still does not go on perfectly. Oh, sorry. Still does not go on perfectly smooth. It bottoms out. So I'm still going to have to thread chase this guy a little bit here. So we're going to go ahead and get that started. But we have new wheel studs to put in, new axle nuts on both sides, new bearings, and new seals that we're going to get to put into the BC Racing coilover setup here and the hub assembly. So we're going to go ahead and work on that. Let's go. I don't know if you saw last time, but before, this nut wouldn't even get on. If you've never used one of these guys before, essentially if you can get it started, which is why I had so many problems with that other one, just start spinning it, and then something like this with a wrench, you go until there's a little resistance, back up, little resistance, back up. So it's essentially like this all the way through. The biggest problem here was about the third or fourth thread down was giving me an issue. A little bit boogered up, but not bad. And then just the thickness of the zinc plating was really what the issue was. I don't know if it's going to zoom in on this, but you can maybe see there's some thread residue just where it cleaned it off down inside there. And that's fine, just a little bit, no big deal. But now, once I get the nut on there, the thing will spin down easily. Couldn't do that before. So, we're good to go. I gotta make a quick run to either Ace Hardware or AutoZone. Hopefully Ace Hardware. Get some bolts so we can put in the new wheel studs. 2-bolt trick or 2-nut trick to kind of suck it in. If not, I'll get lug nuts, but I know they cost a little bit more, and they're gonna get ruined. So I don't want to do that if we don't have to. Ace Hardware, here we go, if it's still open. Alright, so put the next stud in, just give it a quick little tap with the hammer to get it started. Then I got a really big nut to set in there. And then this is an M12 1.0. Just want enough to kind of get it started on the stud. And then I'm going to if you can see that, but right there it's slowly sucking that in to be flush. Then I'll back it out. We're done. It's in there nice and flush. Threads aren't boogered up or anything like that, so we're good to go. I just got to do that a few more times. And we're back. Had to run to AutoZone to get to this puller. And we've been finagling with 2 or 3 different ones. I have a small one right here, and it wouldn't fit, and this and that, so hopefully this will get this bearing out. I've tried just prying it out with a screwdriver or pry bar and all that other mess, but I can't mess the spindle up because that's my good one, so I needed to go ahead and rent that puller from AutoZone. Let's get this puppy out. Alright, just got back from Home Depot and Lowe's. Had to try and get a bolt for the bearing puller, and they didn't have any big enough, so we'll have to maybe get to Ace Hardware tomorrow and see what happens. The only good news is, well, side stop was both Walmart and Target. Check for some Hot Wheels, bust there too. So no good Hot Wheels, not the right size bolts. We'll get back at it tomorrow. See ya. Alright, so here's where we are. We have the BC Racing coilovers and welded to the hub assembly. New stub axle, new inner and outer bearings, new seals, new nuts, all that stuff. So we just gotta put all this stuff together. I only have one of these finished right now, still gotta get the other one welded up and painted. So we're gonna start with one and go from there. While the pieces in the freezer, let me show you. These are the original J hooks from the 240Z. As far as I know, they're no longer available, can't find them, and I kind of forgot about them, so I didn't have a chance to get them refurbished, but I did order these from eBay or something. They're actually for some sort of a Mopar vehicle. They are a little bit longer, but I can cut those down. So, got those and just some new stainless hardware from Ace Hardware. Good to go on that. Alright, just got this guy out of the freezer. It's been there for about 30 minutes, 20 minutes or so. Gonna put a little anti-seize in this area right here, and then get it over to the press. Alright, next step, pack some bearing grease in here, and as well as on the inside of the spacer. Got it all nice and clean. Put that on, and then we're going to work on the outer bearing. So axle grease, grease it up really well. Make sure you get it all over the place, in all the crevices, all that jazz. Got to be solid. Alright, that was simple. Got a nice and packed in there, spun it around 5 or 6 times, kept pushing grease into it, and I greased the inside of this guy, slid it down, and then use my fingers to try and mash a little bit more down in there. Good to go. Now we'll get the other bearing into the hub. This is the passenger side, the back of it, back of the housing. So now what we're going to do is grease up this bearing and use the press to press it in there. Out of my press kit, I found the hub press or whatever, that slug that is just one size smaller than the bearing itself. So this will actually be able to press all the way down. The rod on the press will line up flat here, so it should just press it completely straight all the way down. Let's hope. I'm sure everybody's seen this before, but just to be on the safe side, the easiest way, there's no easy way to do this. It gets messy regardless. So just start mashing this stuff in. And have a few paper towels or shop rags or something handy. It's not the cleanest thing in the world, but what needs to happen. So I have this mashed in pretty good. I'm putting some force down as I'm putting it in. But if you look, that looks pretty good right there. Flip it over, none of it seeped through. So you got to make sure to do both sides. So now, one side done. Oh, maybe a little more. One side and the other. I also put a little anti-seize in that thread hole just to be safe. Now comes the hard part of getting it put in here and lined up to go in for good. Alright, let me get that set up on the press and I'll be right back. Alright, back outside. Next couple steps go like this. Gonna lube that guy up, put it in through here, use the spacer to suck in. I'm going to go ahead and bolt it down just to get started. Take the nut back off, lube up the grease seal, put that in, washer, stub back or assembly piece, whatever, and then put it all back together. So lube, insert, tighten, loosen, lube, washer, tighten. That's our next couple of steps. I don't know if you saw in the time lapse, but as I was tightening it, this part was spinning. So in comes Mr. Cinderblock. Luckily, this is like what you would use if you were building a deck or something like that, but the 4 lug nuts fit in there with only like an 1/8 inch to spare, so it sits in there perfect and holds it in place. So that's what I had to do real quick. As you can see, it's sunken down in there really, really well. So next step is to lube up the seal, press that in, put this guy back in one more time, washer, nut, done. And then we can put it on the car, I think. Yeah, then we can put it on the car. That's what it looks like all finished up, ready to go. Torque specs on this is like, I think it's 186 to 200 or somewhere right in that range. I don't have a big enough torque wrench here at the house, so for now just gonna tighten it as much as I can with that 1/2 inch ratchet. And for testing purposes and for now, that'll be just fine until I can get to the shop and get one. But I think now we're ready to kind of put this on the car. Let's see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like put on. Got our BC coilovers, new studs, Technotoy tuning, rear lower control arms, Technotoy mustache bar and diff mount. Underneath there, need to touch it up, but the wheel wells have all been re-undercoated. Actually, use truck bed liner. I like it a lot better. Easier to touch up, easier to clean, and actually hardens, doesn't stay gooey forever. So that's where we're at. Kind of done for now until we get the other axle adapter back from the welder. So might be it for now. Wait.